This isn't the time that was noticed and posted. We ran a little over, so it's now 1:45. It is Thursday, April the 18th, 2024. We're in the Board of Supervisors hearing room, Melody Lane, Bisbee, and this is a work session. Pursuant to ARS 38-431.028, the public will have physical access to the meeting place 15 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Any item on this agenda is open for discussion, and we begin with the roll call. District 1?
Crosby is here.
District 2, Supervisor English is present. District 3?
Supervisor Judd is here.
There is a complete board. Members of the public may also attend this meeting by Microsoft Teams computer or mobile app, or by phone by calling 602-609-7513 or 888-680-6714. Conference ID 620-442-53#. If you have trouble accessing this meeting remotely, call 520-432-9200 for direction. Work sessions are a time for county staff to inform and discuss agenda items with the Board of Supervisors, and public comments will not be taken. I need to stop here for a minute because usually there's more digits on the conference ID on that last section.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Only 53? All right. So, introductions on work sessions. Before you begin to speak, if you tell us who you are, who you represent, so that we have a complete record of who's in attendance and who's talking. This work session is for the County Recorder's Office. And Mr. Kowalczyk, do you have any comments before we turn it over to our County Recorder?
I do not.
Okay. Mr. Stevens, it's yours.
Brief and to the point. I like that. David Stevens, Cook County Recorder. You have to read that every meeting? I think I've recorded, just play it. Just
The county attorney says that we need to.
Well, we record.
So we do it.
All right. Well, I just talked to Mr. Kowalczyk. We were getting a reimbursement for PPE money for the election, $94,625. So I got notification from the state they're going to send a check. I don't know when, but that was our limit that we were supposed to get. It's $1.25 per active voter. They're a little short there, so I don't know. They're a little short? Yeah, a little bit. I would hound them to, yeah. Only 2 counties have replied, so maybe we get ours first. Okay. So, as you know, the PPE just ended. We're going through the Canada Challenge stuff. It's been very fluid.
Yes, we had a hearing.
We had one this morning. We got 3 or 4 next week, and then right into the primary election. Let's see. We had some major changes. I think you're all aware of House Bill 2785. It had 2 major changes to our office. That is, we will be open until 7 p.m. the Friday before and after the election for curing, and that weekend, Saturday and Sunday, both of those. We were notified that we would be reimbursed for the PPE overtime. Haven't seen it yet. Submitted a request for about $5,000 to them. So at some point when they decide to send that check out, that check will be coming in also. They will not be reimbursing for the primary and general, to my understanding. So that was one of the cost variants that we put in. The two, and the other thing that causes an issue is we now have to handle the ballots twice as much. So I need temporary staff.
Is that on 2785?
Yeah.
So what did it say exactly?
For handling the ballots, we have to scan them in the day we receive them when they come in. And then we have to put up a report every day of where we stand, what was mailed out, what was received back in, and what's been accepted or rejected. We used to do that twice a week, Tuesday, Fridays. Now it's every day, and it's a statute. It wasn't a statute before. And going forward in this election, since I'm on the ballot, I will not be handling any ballots. Whereas like the PPE and the elections in 22, I was able to do the work. I will not be able to do the work this time. We anticipate a problem with, or an issue with, the turnout. 2020 was very high, the highest we've ever had in this county. And I anticipate, since the 2 primary people are the same, anticipate the same turnout. So we had some issues with staffing at that point of handling the influx. I had probably an 8 to 10 fold increase of in-office voters in 2020, and it caused a major disruption just the flow of the office. That's one of the reasons why we're doing I'm setting up a early voting in Sierra Vista for the primary and general, and that will have to be staffed. That will be at the Foothills Drive building. So we own the building. They're already making one modification that needs to be done as the ADA door. It wasn't a button to push to have the door automatically open. So they're replacing that whole door. It's not just for me. They should have that for it anyway. So the only expense of that's going to be staff. Going through that.
So how much staff?
I'm looking at 6 people, 6 temps. The goal is to address the poll workers first because they already have some knowledge of the process itself. And then we're looking at 2 here and 2 there and 2 in as backup in case you call in sick. Now they do have to be opposite parties, that kind of thing. And the poll workers tend to know that kind of stuff going forward. So that's the goal, to have 6. And have the 2 spots for early voting.
You're going to hire, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Sure.
So you're going to hire them out of the existing.
That's the
workers.
goal.
You're going to go out to those guys and.
That's the goal because
Get the
there
people.
are over 100 poll workers, and it would only be for the early voting, so that they could still do the poll workers on election day. So it wouldn't affect the election department doing their job. That was the increase I had in the budget. It's an estimate. What we don't spend, you get back. So,
How much you going to pay them?
well, just a few dollars less than what I make. Now we're looking at $15 an hour. That'd be 40-hour weeks because we will not do early voting unless we're mandated to by the state. We won't be doing early voting on the weekends. There, we'll be doing them here.
So the funding request that you put in and if I may, Madam Chair, halfway down where it says what the specific performance outcome does the department expect? It says assist at the early voting locations to ensure that the process is not upheld. Did you mean?
Yeah, no, that is not an issue with voting and just doing the normal work at our office.
I just
So
wanna
would you like
Yeah.
to tell us how to change that because we couldn't change
Sure.
it for you?
Yeah, we'll do it. I did what?
Yeah.
I gotta have someone to blame. That's why she's here. Yeah. To make me the hour.
And what is your name, ma'am?
Jill Smith.
Jane.
So,
Just wanted to clarify because it just read them.
okay, no, that's fine.
What is Heather's title?
Chief Deputy. And if you're interested, we have 52,895 early voters that will get an early ballot. That's as of today, people can request or come on. And we have 273 UOCAVAs, those are overseas people.
And out of that 50,000, how many come back?
In 2020, we had 48,000 that were voted. We do get some back on undeliverable.
That's what I meant, the underlivable.
Not, I don't have that number, but it's very small, a couple hundred maybe.
Well, because we kept getting complaints from some of the public that they didn't get an opportunity to vote because it never got to them and, you know. that
Depends on
kind
which election. If it's the May election, we didn't mail them to inactive people. So though, I don't want to get into that lawsuit, but that was one of the complaints that they had, that we didn't mail to the inactives. Well, we're not allowed to. But for instance, everybody in the county that was active for the May election was mailed a ballot and 3,000 came back undeliverable. but roughly 20,000 of those people aren't even on the early ballot list. So they weren't expecting those early ballots. So I expected that number to be higher. I was happy it was down to 3,000. But we usually get a couple hundred because people move all the time.
Right.
So it's difficult as long as it's not in the thousands. I expect maybe 400 or 500 undeliverable. We're precluded now from doing any list maintenance by the feds because we're too close to the election. We have to have it completed before the 90-day notice goes out. Yeah, it's a 35-day window, so we would have had it done it during the March election, and we can't do it then because we're in election. So, 400 or 500 is kind of what we're expecting today.
Do you have any questions or comments, Ms. Judge?
Nope, thank you.
Who is the top contributor for cleaning up their voter rolls?
Well, it's my job to do it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I took it as a contribution money thing. 'Cause
Oh, no.
The county paid for it.
Oh, okay.
You pay for all the postage. Everything we do is like first class mail.
I see.
Everything. So that's a federal regulation.
As of today, what do you think it's going to cost for each one of those that comes back through the mail? At one point in time, I was told it was $2.50 that we have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's probably a good rough estimate. 'Cause you have to pay, there's the cost of the printing of the envelope, the ballot, the mailing.
No, I meant the ones that come back at the post office.
Oh, just
At the
undeliverable?
post office.
It's roughly $1 because we pay twice. We pay when they're mailed out and then we have to pay to bring them back in. So it's roughly $1 to bring them back in. Every ballot, whether it's undeliverable or a
Right.
ballot. So.
Good.
And we use a nonprofit stamp. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's about 20 cents to mail them. So we get a discount on that, but we don't get one coming back in.
Any other questions or comments? No. Wow.
We're done.
Okay, what time is it? Did we finish on time?
157.
Yeah.
The judge was very concerned about being behind schedule.
Okay. So before I close this meeting out, and thank you, Mr. Stevens and Heather, the next meeting is at 2:00 in the Board of Supervisors hearing room for a work session to discuss the county's budget, specifically court administration, justice of the peace, Superior Court, adult probation, juvenile detention, and clerk of the Superior Court. Hearing no other comments, meeting is adjourned.